We are going to get started. I just want to thank you, everyone, for joining us today. We have Captain Karyn Stano. She's been with Freedom Boat Club with us for 4 years now. She's been working on the water forever, and we are so thankful to have her. This presentation should be about an hour, and if you have any questions, please drop them in the chat. And if we have time at the end, we will go through those. If we do not have time at the end, I will be taking note of all of those, and I will be getting them answered by Karyn at another time. I just want to make sure that she's able to get through her entire presentation. So please don't think that your question was gone unanswered. I will make sure to record all of those, and we will get those answered for you. So I'm going to turn it over to Captain Karyn and let her get started. Hey, Karyn, I believe that you're still muted. I just want to make sure that we can all hear you. She said that was not me. I'm still muted. Give us 1 second. Just some technical difficulties.
You can't get it together.
Okay, I'm good now. Taylor, we gotta go back through this thing again.
Nope, you're good. So just do the from beginning.
Yeah. Display.
And then do the display settings, and then you should be all set.
All right. Sorry, everybody.
Okay.
Sorry we had a little technical difficulty there. We were having a hard time getting the presentation to show properly on Teams, so I didn't want to change anything once we had it set up to unmute myself. But anyway, thank you for hanging in there. Welcome to the shallow water, and I like to call it chart training, because really, you know, Lake St. Clair can be a difficult beast, in the sense of everybody thinks of a lake as being, you know, shallow on the sides and deep in the middle, and Lake St. Clair is nothing like that. There's all kinds of obstacles and sandbars everywhere that we need to be aware of. But if we learn how to read a chart and know what the chart is telling us, it makes all the difference in the world, and we can keep ourselves safe, keep the boat safe, keep our crew safe, and you know, understand where those areas are. So let's go ahead. We'll get into it. I'm going to go to the next slide. Just a quick reiteration of the rules so that everybody knows, you know, when all of our members spend a lot more time learning the rules of the road than most people who go out and buy a boat. There are no rules about buying a boat in the state of Michigan. All you need is a driver's license, and you can go buy a boat, and you don't have to know what the rules are. But basically, when we're talking about boating safety, if you remember just one thing, which is everybody on the right of you has the right of way. So the people on the right are right. And if we ran at night, we can't run at night. But if our light was on, they would see, people on your right would see a green light. The green means go for them. People on your left would see a red light. Red means stop for them. That means that they have to either slow down or change course or both. And so those are basically the rules. Now, the rules also state that your job as a captain is to also avoid collision. So if somebody on your left-hand side should be changing course or slowing down and they're not, then it's our job to slow down or change course to avoid collision. And in a head-on situation, always go to the right. You always want to go to the right, never go to the left. You confuse everybody. Always go to the right. So just quick overview on boating safety. A quick reminder about navigational and informational aids, right? There's a saying in boating, right red return. When you are returning from the sea, you will always keep the red buoys on your right-hand side. And it's easy to remember when we're out on Lake St. Clair and in the rivers, the St. Clair River and the Detroit River, if we are going with the current, we are going back to the sea. If we are going against the current, we are returning from the sea because all the water runs to the sea. So always remember, keep the red buoys on your right-hand side when you are returning from the sea, right? Red return. And always remember that the white buoys are informational. They are telling you something. So there's a lot of white buoys in Lake St. Clair. Most of them are telling you that you're in a no wake zone. Some will tell you there's a hazard or a wreck. Some will tell you that it's a swimming area, so there's no boats allowed. And some will tell you that it's just a danger area. Just know that the white buoys are always informational. They're telling you something. The red and green buoys are directional. When you see the what we call the preferred channel buoy, which is the one that is it's two different colors. So you see it'll either be green, red, green, or red, green, red. That buoy in particular is telling you which way to go. It's telling you that there's a fork in the road. If you treat it like whatever the top color is, so if it's green, red, green, it's a green buoy. If it's red, green, red, it's a red buoy. If you treat it like whatever the top color is, that is the preferred way to go. All right, and you will have safe passage. So just a quick little refresher. So I did a little research. It doesn't take much to go onto the Army Corps Engineers website and to look at their weekly update for the Great Lakes. And they even will specifically break it down into St. Clair Shores or Lake St. Clair. Keep in mind that all of the Great Lakes are pretty much cyclical, where in the fall, our water will drop quite a bit due to evaporation. And then in the spring, it will slowly start to go up. We are in that area of the season right now where the water levels are extremely low, but they are on their way up. The Army Corps of Engineers anticipates that they will be going up over the next few months. And they anticipate that this year, although the water will be down 6 inches from what it was a year ago, it will still be, or currently it's down 6 inches. They anticipate that it will be down somewhere between 6 and 9 inches over the year for the same period of 2024, depending on how much rain we get and how much runoff we get from the snow that melts up north. Keep in mind that we are currently over 2 feet over what chart datum tells us. So if the chart datum is telling you that it's 1 foot there, it is probably 3 feet. And if it's 15 feet, it's probably 17 feet. So, but keep an eye on your charts, keep an eye on your depths. All right. So what does that mean for us? The fact that we're going to be down almost a foot means you are not going to be able to go to some of the places that you used to go last year. You're not going to be able to get maybe as close to shore as you did last year. Don't think, well, I was about, 100 feet offshore last year. I can go there this year, because you're down 9 inches, which is almost a whole foot. So keep that in mind when you're out there on the lake, that you're going to need to figure out new spots that you need to go and how far away from the shoreline that you can be. Make sure that you know and understand the charts, right? If you don't know and understand the charts, please reach out to somebody at Freedom Boat Club, because we can easily give you a quick overview of the charts and what they represent. It should be part of all the training that everybody goes through as a new boating member. The charts are not only do they have numbers in them that represent the depth of the lake, but they're also color coded. The white areas of the chart are the deepest, and you'll see that in the channels and in the shipping channel that the freighters go down, which cuts right through the middle of the lake. The light blue will be between 15 and 5 feet. That's the next shallowest, or the next shallowest part. And the dark blue is the absolute shallowest part of the lake. It's kind of counterintuitive. You would think the dark blue would be the deepest part of the lake, but it's not. It's actually the shallowest part of the lake. Yellow represents land. If you're heading toward a yellow part of the chart, you're going to be hitting land. And the green represents marshland, right? So that's that tall reeds in the water. It can be extremely shallow in those areas. If you see tall reeds and you're heading in that direction, you are heading toward marshland, and you need to change your course. One of the things that I always tell everybody about, and I swear I don't get a kickback from Navionics, but I think it's an awesome app, and I use it. I pay for it every year. I like it because I can put pins in my favorite places. If you train with me, I always show everybody how to use the automatic routes. I did a Navionics class a couple months ago, which shows how to set up your boat, how to do a automatic route, and some of the other features of Navionics. So if you haven't seen that, you can ask to have that link sent to you, and you can watch that. It's very educational. But the nicest thing I think about the Navionics is that it puts you and your boat inside the chart. And you can see when you're heading into the dark blue areas, or if you are in a safe passage channel. You could put your waypoints in there. You could put your, I even have like my favorite fishing spots. I have most of the restaurants around Lake St. Clair that I like to go to as thumbtacks that I put in. And I also have my favorite anchorage spots that I leave little marks where, this was a perfect spot to anchor and I want to come back here. So you can leave breadcrumb trails. You can save your routes. It will also keep track of your gas consumption if you really wanted to go that far, and understand how much fuel you're using every time you run out to Muscatine, for example, or Gull Island. So I like the Navionics app, and these screenshots that I'm showing here show the Navionics app in action. If you want to go in and set up your boat, you can go into the Navionics, go to menu, you go to where your name is, you go to boat setup. Make sure that you set it up for a 3 feet minimum draft. the draft on a boat is from the bottom of the boat to the water line, or from the water line to the bottom of the boat. So I always tell everybody, set it up for 3 feet. Our boats probably don't need that much, but to be safe, you don't want to damage a prop because they're expensive. I always tell everybody, set up for a generic boat. You know, you could do a 22-foot length. The beam is the width. You could do a 9 or 8-foot beam and a 3-foot draft. All right. And then you'll be able to do an automatic route, which is what that next picture is showing, where it's showing an automatic route that routes me around the point of Metro Beach. So from St. Clair Shores out to Blue Lagoon restaurant. That's the route that's there. It routes me right around that Metro Beach. A lot of people go right at Metro Beach. You should not go right at Metro Beach because it's very shallow and it's very rocky for a long distance, probably a quarter of a mile out of that point of Metro Beach. So you have to be aware of that shallow area. You always want to go around it. It's clearly marked on the chart. So never go right at Metro Beach. You always want to go around that point. And then it also shows around the area of the New Baltimore Channel, where it's also shallow, and around what we call Grassy Island. So it shows going around that, and then you just follow that line, and you takes you right to where you want to go, just like a car GPS. So I always tell everybody, stay in the channels. It's not worth the 2 minutes you're going to save by cutting a corner. That's how a lot of boaters find what we call the firecracker. The firecracker is right where the Old South Channel and the shipping channel meet on the south end of Seaway Island by Gull Island. So where those two channels meet, if you zoom in, you'll see at the very, very tip, which is what I'm showing the picture on the lower left-hand side of your screen, you'll see a yellow line. That is the firecracker. Now, Steve, who, owns the franchise, has been fighting with the Coast Guard for years and has finally got them to mark it. And since they marked it, I think he was telling me something like 40 boats used to hit it every summer. And the first summer, I think only 4 ended up hitting the firecracker. So it's made a big difference. It's brought awareness to a lot of boaters, but even there are other areas that are not marked that can be dangerous. So you don't want to cut those corners. Always stay in this channel. If you can, stay in the white areas of the channel where they are the deepest, and you will have safe passage. Okay. Don't take any shortcuts. So when you, instead of going all the way out to the very furthest buoy to go into the middle channel, if you cut the corner, you can run into Sand Island, which is what is circled there. See how it shows green little dots and then those ones there? That is actually extremely shallow there. And a lot of people will cut across that instead of going all the way out to the furthest buoy. Always go out to the furthest buoy in the channel and follow the channel in. You will have safe passage. Okay. When you're going into Muscatine, which is that other on the lower end of that picture, it shows a arrow going in along Seaway Island. You want to stay in the deeper part of the channel, stay up on plane, and you'll have to go in to the right-hand side. I don't know if anybody's going to be in Little Muscatine this year because it is going to be down another foot. And I know that the bigger boats were having trouble getting back there last year at the beginning of the season. I'm sure we'll hear about it, whether they're able to get in there or not. People might be moving back out to Big Muscatine, which is where people have been most of the time. It's only been really the last probably 7 years or 8 years that everybody's been back in Little Muscatine, because the Big Muscatine area has been so deep. So depending on that area, you'll be moving around. I'll always keep in mind that the green means marshlands and it's shallow. The yellow is land. Okay. So if you're heading toward anything that is green or yellow, you're heading toward land. Right. So be careful. And novice boaters, when you go over to Brown's, which is a restaurant on the Middle Channel, everybody should go there. It's a great time. It's a unique experience. When you go there, stay to the south side of the marina, and that is where the cut through is. Right? Don't go over to the north side, which is where it gets pretty shallow over there pretty quickly. So be careful of that area. All right, let's talk about no wake zones in the channels. Just so everybody knows, I got this map off of jobbycrew.com. There's also, I think there's a couple other websites that have a chart like this that are color coded. I had this at my helm one time, got me out of a ticket. So everybody should have this downloaded off the web, print it out, have it with you. It shows where the no wake areas are because they are not marked in some of these channels. So on the North Channel, which is up on the top side of this chart, it's almost all purple except for the very end where it's red and blue. That is the North Channel. It is mostly all free of, it's clearly marked. They have white buoys out there that mark the no wake zones. There's a 200, 600 foot rule. Okay. And what it is it's to protect the wetlands. So when the land narrows to 200 feet or less, right, all boats must go slow. All boats must go slow. If you are at a larger boat, which none of our boats are, the 26 feet or larger must maintain 200 feet from shore. So we don't have to worry about that so much because our boats are not that big. But if you see, I just tell everybody, if you see smaller boats going slow, go slow, right? Go to no wake speed. But it is about protecting the wetlands. And when the channels narrow, all boats need to go slow. Up at Harbor Club and Algonac, there are quite a few piles and obstructions that you need to be aware of. When you're going in and out of the marina, you just stay in the channels, right? Be careful, stay in the channels. It gets very shallow on the edges there. There's marshland right across from the gas dock. So be careful. It also gets very congested in there. Boats going in and out of there on any given weekend day. It gets very congested. So be aware, watch your GPS for the obstructions. Again, this top close-up of the chart is showing when you're coming from the South Channel and you're turning into the North Channel, don't cut that corner. There's a sunken barge right there. So if you cut that corner, you could hit that barge, and it's clearly marked on the chart. So it will be your fault for hitting it because it's clearly marked. And I just tell everybody, don't even take the extra 5 minutes, go around the buoy I always do. I always wait till I go around the buoy that marks the beginning of the North Channel, and then I turn and I go down the North Channel. If you see anything that looks like a football on a chart, that is a wreck or a sunken barge or some sort of obstruction. Okay, you want to stay away from that. Anything that looks like a dotted circle is a sunken pile that you want to also avoid. Approaching Strawberry Island, again, be careful at the junction of the Middle Channel and the North Channel. At Dickinson Island, also don't cut the corner. It's shallow there. Go out to the pilot, the buoy, and go around. Right? When you're coming up into areas where it's shallow, you want to approach it slowly, and you want to be ready to trim the motor up, but be aware that you don't want to trim the motor up too much, because if it's running and you trim it up out of the water, they are water cooled and it will overheat. So you want to trim the motor up a little bit. If you trim it up too much where it's going to overheat, it won't be moving you anyway. So you want to trim the motor up a little bit. You want to approach slow. You want to know what the bottom looks like. Is it sand? Is it clay? Is it rocky? Right? If it's rocky, you don't want to approach it. If it's mucky or clay or sand, you will just want to approach it very slowly. I always tell everybody, stay in waist deep water, and you'll be safe. In the Snai, Boreala, and the Newport, and the new Baltimore cut, I don't know if we're going to be able to go through there this year. If we're down 9 inches, it was pretty tight the last few, although we are up over chart datum. So you can see coming out of the New Baltimore cut, it goes from 9 feet, 10 feet to 9 feet to 7 feet to 2 feet, right? And then to 4 feet. And so you're going to need to be very, very careful if you're going to go through there. I wouldn't recommend going through there unless you're following somebody who knows that area, and you can follow in and learn from. And also right next to it is Bare Naked Bay. Again, you're going to want to approach that area very slowly, very carefully, because again, it's going to be shallower than it was last year. Probably won't be able to get in as far as you did before. Munchies Bay and Cabana Blue, and On the Rocks, again, On the Rocks is called On the Rocks for a reason. There are rocks and hazards all around that restaurant, so be very careful going in there. Cabana Blue has clearly marked where all those sunken pillars and piers are, so be aware of that. Don't go near that front dockage area if they have taken the buoys out that market for the season and they aren't in yet. You're going to want to stay away from that. I never dock over there myself. I always go in through the cut and back, and I dock behind the restaurant where it's safer. And I use the north entrance. Munchies Bay, be careful of shallow spots. And Island Grill, again, you really want to follow the channel in because it is very, very shallow. So make sure you know how to use the SIMRADs that are on the boat, or that you have the Navionics on your phone, and that you know how to follow that, and you know how to read the chart, and you know what you're looking at when you're going in and out of these different areas. Fairhaven, Church Road, the submerged piers that are there. Again, they're clearly marked on the chart. You're going to want to stay away from those areas. Again, if you see the green, that's marshland, right? If you see yellow, it's land. And if you see these round dotted obstacles, they are sunken piers. So they're underwater. It may look like you can go there, but under the water, those obstructions are there. So don't just go by what you think that you know when you see, it looks like I can just go across this, but you have to look at the chart. Always reference the chart before you go into areas that you don't know. MacRay Harbor and Poor Man's Beach, I believe that there's a big rock out there that the club goes out and marks every year. There's also, again, you want to stay in the channel. And when you're approaching the shallow areas, approach them slowly. Okay, and never anchor in the channel. Never anchor in the channel. Let me repeat it. It's illegal to anchor in the channel. So when you're out in front of Poor Man's, you have to be aware of where that channel is and do not anchor in it. In the Clinton River, again, with the water being down, we're going to have to be really careful going in and out of the cut. And the cut is, for those of you who don't know, there is a, what we call in the boating community, rip wrap wall, seawall, or break wall. It's called rip wrap because it's broken concrete. So it's broken concrete. It's a break wall to protect the marina, to protect the ramps and that area at the mouth of the Clinton River. It is a hazard. People have to be aware of it. You want to make sure that you don't try to cross over it or get too close to it. Always treat.
Hello.
Hey, how you
Yes.
doing, babe?
I'm bleeding.
Oh.
Okay. What do you want us to do? You want me to pick up Joe or meet Joe and we should go?
Okay,
and
I'm just going to keep going
around?
while these
Or
guys
you
are
wanna
talking.
go and then
So
Joe is
there's a
be
rip
right.
wrap wall. You want to make sure that you don't try to cross it. It's clearly marked with orange triangles at the beginning and at the end of it. And when you go through the cut, you want to be careful that you stay in the middle. Remember that anytime you see a broken concrete wall or anything like that, that it's like a iceberg, right? You're just seeing the tip of it. It's wider at the bottom. So you want to stay away from it and make sure that you are protecting your boat and your crew, that you don't wreck the prop or damage the boat or end up with your crew on the rocks. There's a lot of hazards outside of the cut when you go through it. As you can see, they're circled there. And also there is there's a grass island that's over there to the left when you come out of the cut, as you're going over toward Belvedere Bay. You can't see the island there. It's there. It's probably about a half a foot underwater, but it is there. And you need to be aware of it. You can clearly see it on the chart. I've circled it here on this picture. So when you go out that cut, just go straight out. Don't veer over to the left. Don't go cruise around looking at the homes that are on, North River Road over there, because you can get yourself into danger real quick. Also, there's no wake in the Clinton River. Be mindful of your wake. Always look behind you. Always look at your wake to make sure you're not throwing off a wake. I know the sheriff will yell at you through their loudspeaker if you are going too fast through there. They will call you out. So be aware of that. At Metro Beach, again, I'm showing you here that point that's out in front of Metro Beach that I was talking about. It's probably a quarter of a mile out from Metro Beach, from the point. So you never want to run right at Metro Beach, and it's rocky up there. So if you go over there, it's shallow and it's rocky. You want to always go around that area. And when you're going into Metro Beach, you have to stay in the channels. Do not veer out of the channel. You need to stay in the channel because, again, there's rocks and it's very shallow on both sides. So going to Metro Beach is fun. Going through Metro Beach is fun. I love Metro Beach. It's a great place to go, have a picnic, hang out for the day, but you got to be aware of all the hazards that are around it. And there's very, very heavy traffic on the weekends. It can be 3-4 boats wide going in and out of there. So just be aware of that. Okay, along the St. Clair Shores, Grosse Pointe shoreline, again, the nautical mile between 9 Mile and 10 Mile, there is a 600-foot no wake zone. It runs the shoreline. So you can potentially drive your boat out of it and drive your boat right back into it. If you're on the boat and there's a white buoy and no wake buoy on one side of you and land on the other, you are in the no wake zone. So be aware of that. Even if the buoys aren't out there, which like right now, this time of year, they are not out there, you need to know this rule and follow it. The Coast Guard does not care that the buoys are not out there. You need to know the rule and follow it. And it's for everybody's safety. It's just because of the congestion and all the traffic. I counted, there are 15 marinas between 9 Mile and 10 Mile. And the biggest one is Jefferson Beach. It has 800 boats. So imagine if half of those boats moved on any given day, you would have 400 boats moving around in front of the nautical mile, and that would be a lot of heavy congestion. So that's why there's a no wake rule. That's why we go slow out in front of the marinas in front of St. Clair Shores. If you're going into Ford Cove, again, it's rocky on the edges, but it's deep in the middle. So you can go in there. It's a great place to get out of the weather sometimes, get out of the wind, go hang out. It's very deep once you're in Ford Cove, but you have to be very careful when going in. Make sure you stay in the channel, stay in the deep areas until you get into Ford Cove, and then stay away from the edges of Ford Cove because it's all rocks. Do not go near the edge of land because they purposely put big rocks there to keep boats from beaching on the land there. Right? Lots of great restaurants on the nautical mile. There's Hook, which has been open for a couple of years now, Watermark, Zeff's, Mike's, and also don't forget Ken's Gas Stock, which has some pretty awesome hamburgers, I must say. So lots of great places to go, lots of good entertainment and food and fun. So come down to St. Clair Shores, hang out, but just be careful and know the rules, right? If you're going to anchor by Lakeshore Drive, make sure that you stay in waist deep water. So if you did that last year, you're not going to be able to get as close to shore as you did last year because the water's going to be down 9 more inches. And so you're going to have to go further out than you did. But it's a great place to go hang out. Make sure that you are aware of any rocks and that you stay away from those. I like to always, for people who are going to Art Van Bay area, you want to go out between the Grosse Pointe Yacht Club and Art Van's house. Between Ford Cove and Art Van's house is very rocky. So be aware of that. The dumping grounds. This is an area where, like, back, I don't know the exact history, but back like the late 1800s, early 1900s, they used to throw junk out here, and it created kind of an artificial reef for the fish. It's really great fishing now because it's all variable heights to the bottom. So it's 12 feet, 7 feet, 6 feet, 8 feet. So it's created this like artificial reef where you can go out there and you can catch all kinds of fish. You can catch walleye, perch, bass, pike. It's a great area to fish if you're downtown getting a boat out of Sinbad's, or if you're getting a boat out of St. Clair Shores. It's a quick little jaunt out to the dumping grounds. You can throw anchor on any given beautiful morning and catch some perch, or you can float around and try and catch some pike or walleye. But the dumping grounds can also, you got to be careful in that area and look at the chart, watch where the other boats are at, and then also be aware that on the south side of the dumping grounds is the Canadian border. Now, you can go into Canada on your boat, but if you fish in Canada on your boat, you have to call in. And if you want to fish in Canada on your boat, you have to have a Canadian fishing license. All right. And if in order to call in, you have to have an enhanced driver's license or a passport or a Nexus card. I don't think a birth certificate works anymore. So if you want to call in, you can have those things. You could go over there. You could go fishing. I go fishing in Canada at least once a year, and I get a Canadian fishing license, and we go into the Detroit River and go fishing on the Canadian side. It's not a big deal. We call in. It's easy peasy. Don't be afraid of it. But if you're just running the boat through Canadian waters, you're fine. You don't need to call in. On the around Belle Isle, on the Detroit side of Belle Isle, from the tip of the island to the tip of the island is a no wake zone. So you might see people going fast through there, but it's not allowed. No, it's no wake from the tip of the island to the other tip of the island. If you want to go fast, you can go on the Canadian side and you can run through there. You don't have to slow down. You don't have to go no wake. You can go regular, whatever your cruising speed is. All right. Be aware of Scott's Middle Ground, which is in the middle of the river on the Detroit side of Belle Isle. Now, this is the weird one, right? So normally you think of a river as the deepest part of the river being the middle, and right here and right by Belle Isle, the middle of the river is actually the shallowest part. And you can see by looking at the chart that it's 1 foot deep there in the middle. I used to, when the water was much lower, I used to watch boats run aground there all the time. Again, remember that the charts are color coded, right? The dark blue is the shallowest part. So if you're heading down the Detroit River and you see yourself in the dark blue part, you are in the shallowest part of the river. You need to stay on the sides of the river. And if you're going from, let's say Lake Erie or down the Detroit River, let's say you go down in front of the Renaissance Center and you're heading back towards Lake St. Clair and you're on the Detroit side of the Detroit River, you are returning from the sea because you're going against the current. When you're returning from the sea, you keep your red buoys on the right-hand side and you will have safe passage. Don't forget about some of the restaurants down here. Sinbad's, I was just there the other day. I think they have the best perch around. Get the sauteed perch, it's worth it. If we're heading downriver to Wyandotte, Humbug Marine is down by the mouth of Lake Erie. Wyandotte also, I don't know if these restaurants are still around. I think Portofino's closed and Pier 500 might be under a different name. We'll have to check that. But there's probably some restaurants down in Wyandotte area where you could go dock and enjoy some time down in Wyandotte as well. Wyandotte's a great little area, but again, you want to stay in the channels, right? Watch your charts. You can see here on the right-hand side of your screen, Wyandotte also has an area in the middle where it's very shallow. See, it's 3 feet, 2 feet, and then there's some land there. And they split into 2 channels. The one channel goes to the restaurants and the other channel is for shipping for the freighters. And that's by Fighting Island. So I know that was probably pretty quick. Does anybody have any questions? I'll be glad to go over anything with anybody. Answer any questions for you guys.
I have a question. Are we going to be in Big or Little Moot this year?
I don't know that. I would imagine that it depends on if the bigger boats can get back there. I mean, but for the last couple of years, there haven't been really any super big boats back there. I would say earlier in the season, you're not going to see any big boats back in Little Muscatmoot. So until the water comes up a little bit more, I think most people are going to be a big Muscatmoot, and they're probably going to just dredge a path like they kind of have been doing the last couple of years to create a path that they can get back there. So I don't know the answer. It just kind of shakes out, right? It's all in how many people can get their boats back there.
Thank you.
It's not
Karyn?
definite. I'm sorry. Yeah.
Karyn,
Go ahead.
I've been boating and sailing on Lake St. Clair my entire life, and you did an awesome job of encapsulating everything that's going on this year.
Oh, well, thank you very much. I
Well,
appreciate
thank
that.
you.
Feel free to give me more compliments. Thank you.
My pleasure.
Just
Yeah,
kidding. Does
Karyn,
anybody have any questions?
I have a quick question on that Navionics. Someone said it's just Navionics, but when I go to the app store, it says Navionics boating. I don't see one that's just Navionics. And I did take
Yeah.
the Navionics class, and I should have remembered this.
It's the
Yeah,
same.
yeah. So I think Garmin just recently bought them because they changed their icon and everything too.
Yeah, it
And
says
so
Garmin.
I have it downloaded on my phone and it says Garmin
Yeah.
and it just says boating. But when I open it up,
hmm
it says Garmin and it says Navionics boating.
Okay, I
So-
think that's this one. Then I think it is the one that says Navionics boating.
And it's $50. $50 gives
Yeah.
you the entire US and Canada. So it works really at any of our locations in the US. Also, a really cool feature, and we should probably do a webinar on this too at some time, is for if you're going to the Carolina, going out to the ocean, going to the Carolinas, going down to Florida, there's a way to see the tides when they're going in, when they're going out, how fast they're going in, how fast they're going out, and so that you can see it. Because the hardest thing about boating outside of the Great Lakes is really the tides. We don't deal with that here, and so a lot of times you go down there and you think you're fine for the day, and all of a sudden you can't leave for 5 hours because your boat is sitting on land.
Or
So
you can't get back in.
or you can't get back in, right? So the Navionics will show you that, and it's a really great feature that when I do some of the offshore training for a few of our members, I will show them that. It's a great tool.
So, Karyn,
Yeah.
do you think Navionics is better than Simrad? Should we have both of them on our phone?
Well, there's Simrads on the boats.
Right.
Right. So, and I have a Simrad on my boat. What I don't like about it is that I have to push a button to plus, plus, plus to make it big, and then minus, minus, minus to make it small. Where on my phone, I just zoom in, zoom out with my fingers real fast. I actually, if I'm going somewhere that I don't know, or I know, but I haven't been there in a while, I use both on my personal boat. I like the Navionics because I have all my little pins in, like all my little favorite places. And it's easy for me. I always have my phone with me. And I don't have to mess around with the Simrad.
And you do all the pins and everything on Simrad too?
I think you can. I'm
Yeah.
probably, I'm sure there's a way.
But you've
The other
already built your
thing,
database.
the other thing is that our Simrads by mid-season, because every time those boats go in and out, there's a trail that's left behind. I don't know how to clear that trail out, and so it looks like spaghetti, like by mid-season. And I kind of don't like.
There is a way to do it. I don't know how to do it either, but
I don't know how to do it either, and I've actually tried. I've looked. I don't know how to do it, so we should ask the Simrad guy how to do it. But that's another reason. Like I know the Navionics. I've been using it for years. It's just easy for me. It's just really a personal preference, I think.
So it couldn't hurt to begin with.
Karyn, I don't want to interrupt, but
Yeah.
we had a Simrad training a few weeks ago. So if anyone is interested in learning the Simrad training, please feel free to check out our YouTube channel. That is a recorded training, and he did great on that. So that would help anyone learning the Simrad.
Yeah. And also I did one on the Navionics, so you could watch that one too.
Yes, the Navionics one, I believe. I don't know if I put the link to the Navionics or the Simrad training, but if you click that, that'll take you all to our YouTube channel, and you'll be able to see all of our past seminars.
Great.
I have a question.
I'm guessing Simrad does almost everything Navionics does, but Karyn, you've already got your database built on Navionics.
Yeah. Yeah. Somebody had a question?
Yeah, does the Navionics require some kind of cell reception, or is it strictly run on GPS with downloaded charts?
Wow, that's a good question. I have used it in Canada, and I have not had a problem. I don't think I know the answer to that, but I have not had a problem anywhere on Lake Huron, Lake Erie, and Lake St. Clair, with like where it went out and I didn't have the charts or the chartology information.
Yeah, I've been contemplating getting a chart plotter, but last year I used a couple different apps. I think one was Wave, but I used two different apps to get all the information I needed. And they seem to work even all the way up to Lexington, Harbor Beach, whatnot. But at the same time, I'd rather not spend all that money for a chart plotter, but, if these apps would work. But then again, I don't want to be in a hairy situation and then, lose reception or something and not be able to use